We're having friends over for pizza, but I just cooked those steaks a few days ago, so we'll need to clean this thing out first, which should take about 3 minutes. I'll start by scooping the big stuff into this metal bucket. Make sure the fire's all the way out. You'd be surprised how long embers can survive. The rest of this is a leaf blower job. All clean. Here's my last fire starter. I'll throw some logs in there and we'll get this thing lit up. We're still going to use one of these peels, but today we're going to try something a little different. I want there to be less flour on the bottom of the pie, and I want the crust to crisp up a little bit. So we're going to use this 20-inch diameter metal screen. I realize this takes away from the brick oven charm, but my goal is to make the perfect 20-inch New York pizza, and I've seen some New York shops use these things, so we're going to give it a try. We're going to pat down the dough in this bowl. So we'll put a few scoops of flour in this thing and get things going. The dough's been in the fridge downstairs for 2 days. Maybe I'll make a video for the dough at some point, but there's so many videos out there on that, and I'm not an expert. Here's the sauce I'm using. Crushed tomatoes, no adjustments. We're almost ready to go here. I'll just spread the coals around to heat up the floor. Maybe one more log. Okay, drop the dough in the bowl. And then just poke at it with your fingertips for a few minutes. Apparently this is a pretty important step to help the dough stretch. Once that's done, you can start stretching it a little bit with your hands. This next part's going to be controversial. I'm going to use a roller. Look, I want this dough to be perfectly even and super thin. Maybe someday I'll be able to toss this, but I've never worked in a pizza shop. I'm not in a rush, and this method is a sure thing. Anyway, this oven's ready to go. I'll brush away a spot for the pie. I don't technically need to use a damp rag to clean this area since I'm using that mesh, but I'm actually going to do it anyway to manage the floor temperature. So this is a step I would normally take if I was cooking directly on the bricks. Alright, so now this temperature is perfect. We'll cheese up this pizza and throw it in the oven. I really love cheese, but one of the main mistakes amateurs make is using too much of it. Pizza's really about the dough. If you can't see the sauce under this cheese, then you've got too much. Okay, it's time to throw on this first pie. I actually designed the pizza oven around the size of the pizza I want to cook. This opening is 20 inches with an extra ½ inch for clearance. After about 60 seconds, you'll have to turn it. I left my glove outside overnight and it got soaked. This never gets old. Total cook time at 700 is about 2 minutes. I'll just scoop it right off this metal screen and leave that in there. Otherwise, I'll have to put that hot metal on the table and one of the kids might touch it or something. I need to make one of these large cutting boards. The one I have isn't really big enough, so this wound up being the best pizza I've made so far. Gets a little better every time. Thanks for watching.